Hello?
Hello, could I speak to Albert Gallant, please?
This is Albert.
Hey, it's Robert Freeman. We went to high school together, class of 1990.
I think I remember you. Are you Bobby Freeman from Mrs. Higgins' homeroom?
Bobby Freeman. It was a name I hoped I'd never hear again. It used to strike fear into my heart every time it was uttered. Bobby Freeman was such a jerk in high school.
I was such a jerk in high school. I was your typical bully. Always putting people down, humiliating them, intimidating them. I was really hard on poor Albert. When I called him all those years later, I figured for sure he'd hang up on me. Yeah, that's me. It's been a long time. I've been looking forward to speaking with you again.
Last time we talked, didn't you and Timmy Baldwin steal my graduation gown? And then lock me in my own locker?
Yeah, that sounds like something Timmy and I would have done. Listen, I'm really sorry about that.
And didn't you destroy my grade 10 science fair project for no good reason?
Yes, that was.
And didn't you pick on me nearly every day all through high school?
Yes, I admit, I treated you very badly over the years. You and many others.
And what reason could you possibly have for calling me now?
I was embarrassed to hear Albert's memories of me. As I recall, he was a really nice guy in high school, and I treated him like dirt.
Bobby always treated me even worse than dirt. After high school, I found it really hard to build any kind of self-confidence thanks to the constant bullying by him and his friends. I don't know why I decided to hear him out that day.
Well, a couple of reasons actually. First, I really wanted to apologize for the way I treated you in school. I know I must have made your life extraordinarily difficult in those days. I wish I could go back and do things differently, but...
Look, no offense, but I find it a little difficult to believe that Bobby Freeman is calling me to apologize for his behavior 20 years ago. What's really going on here?
Well, I'm actually calling to invite you to our 20-year reunion celebration this summer. But, one of the reasons I volunteered to help out with the reunion committee was so that I could contact everyone that I used to bully and apologize ahead of time.
You joined the reunion committee? I thought you hated our high school, not to mention the people in it. What happened?
Well, that's a bit of a long story, but I'll tell you in a nutshell. A few years back, I went through a difficult time when my marriage fell apart. And I blamed my wife for everything and became very angry and very destructive. The more angry I became, the worse my life got. If I hadn't discovered the concept of OMAK, I don't know what would have become of me.
OMAK? What's OMAK?
Well, OMAK is an acronym and it means observing merits and appreciating kindness. The idea is that we often find it easy to point out our faults in others while we rarely take an honest look at ourselves. And in order to counteract this tendency, we simply need to look for the good qualities in others while recognizing our own faults and working to improve them. When I heard this, it was kind of like a revelation of sorts. Looking for the good in others had never really occurred to me. I was too accustomed to looking for faults in others and exploiting them for my own enjoyment. Never in a million years, did I think that I was to blame when a relationship failed. But when I began to practice OMAK, it quickly became clear that my perspective had to change. I had to change. For instance, I often used to argue with my wife when she would send me out on errands and say to the grocery store, and I thought she was nagging at me, trying to annoy me. But what I really didn't realize was that she only wanted to make a nice dinner. She was trying to be kind, and somehow I managed to be angered by it.
I couldn't believe I was hearing these words coming from the mouth of Bobby Freeman. I thought it had to be some kind of joke. But he spoke with such enthusiasm and sincerity. I must admit I was curious to see if he'd really changed. And I was intrigued by the idea of OMAK.
That's quite the story. But I don't know if everyone will be convinced of your transformation. A lot of people probably won't want to attend the reunion if you're the one calling to invite them.
I thought the same thing, but Christine Fletcher's heading up the reunion committee, and she agreed that I should take the opportunity to make these calls.
Christine Fletcher? Didn't you and Timmy Baldwin heckle her off stage at the grade 10 choir recital?
Yeah, she had many doubts about me when I first volunteered, but we've been working together on this for about a year. And I guess she must have seen some change in me, because once I told her why I wanted to be one of the people calling her old classmates. She was really supportive.
Bobby Freeman was such a jerk in high school, he made my life a living hell. He left me without a shred of self-esteem. I couldn't believe it when he called to ask if he could help with the reunion. Of course I refused. He called a few more times, left a few more messages, and emailed. Finally, I relented and agreed to meet with him. During our meeting, he said he'd seen a story in the paper about a charity I've been working on in the community. He said that really inspired him and he wanted to volunteer as well. So when he found out that I was working on the reunion, he said he wanted to help too. So I gave him some little jobs. And then after a few months, I noticed that he was really genuine. And at that time, I wanted to help him reach his goals.
Well, this I gotta see. You can count me in for the reunion.
Great. Well, I'll email you the information package. We have a Gmail account on file for you. Is that still correct?
That's it. And if you don't mind, could you send me some information on OMAK as well? Sounds like something I could benefit from too.
You got it. I'll see you this summer. Email me back if you have any questions.
Albert, did you see who was handing out name tags?
You mean Bobby?
Yeah, can you believe it? I almost cringed when I saw him there. I thought he was gonna make fun of my hair or my dress.
What happened?
He hugged me. And then he complimented me. And then he asked if we could have a chat later on this weekend. Amazing.
Bobby Freeman was such a jerk in high school. He was always pointing out my flaws, always looking for a chance to put me down. I'd hate it when I'd walk in a room and he'd be there. Many times, I'd turn around and walk back out, hoping he didn't see me, hoping he wouldn't follow me.
And what did you say?
I didn't say anything, I was speechless. But he kept talking, and he thanked me for coming, and then he apologized for messing with me in school, and he said that he actually admired me for being so friendly.
He actually called me a few weeks ago too. I was really surprised by the change in him as well, and a little suspicious.
I can't help but feel he's up to something.
Well, when we spoke on the phone, he told me a little bit about his life. I guess he was down and out for a while, and eventually had to take a good look at himself, and he didn't like what he saw. Then he started using something called OMAK to change his way of thinking. It seems legit. I mean, he certainly seems to have changed. Bobby sent me some information on OMAK. At the time, I'd been having some difficulties at work with a new colleague of mine. There was just something about him. It made me think this guy was a huge jerk. Needless to say, we butt heads quite a bit over the next several weeks. Then I began reading some of the information Bobby sent me, and I realized that our poor relationship stemmed from my own negativity and didn't have anything to do with my colleague's attitude at all. I decided to try and put aside my expectations and focus instead on my colleague's good qualities. I failed a lot at this over the first few weeks. But over time, I changed my attitude and I started to develop a genuine admiration for him. Now, I'm not saying there's not still conflict between us, but our relationship is certainly more honest and respectful, to be sure.
OMAK? What's OMAK?
Well, OMAK, well, there's Bobby. Let's ask him. Bobby! Bobby! Bobby!
Hey, hello again there, Donna. Hey, so good to see you.
You too. I was just telling Donna here about OMAK. Thanks for sending me the information. I've been trying it out a little bit here and there.
And?
Well, I'm already starting to see some positive changes. It's really hard though, because I'm finding I'm such a negative person. It's a really tough habit to break.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're having some success.
Hold on. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, sorry, Donna. OMAK stands for observing merits and appreciating kindness. And it's all about looking for the good qualities in people rather than finding faults.
I don't know, it seems kind of daft to me. Like, how can you expect to make positive changes in the world if you don't look at the problems of others?
Well, as I understand it, it's not about changing the world, it's just about changing yourself. Then once you've changed yourself, you can be an example to others.
Also, I found that how I treat others also has a great effect on how others treat me.
What do you mean?
Well, just imagine that the atmosphere in this room or at this table, how it would be if I was like I was back in high school, bullying people and teasing people, you know? There's still a lot of people here who hold grudges against me, you know, and to tell you the truth, I don't blame them. But on the whole, people observe me acting differently towards them, and I think they act differently towards me.
I found that too.
Yeah, well, maybe everyone's just gotten older and wiser, and their changes have nothing to do with yours.
Oh, what about you, Donna? Weren't you originally apprehensive about coming face to face with Bobby Freeman?
Well, yeah, but do you remember how vicious he was in school and how he taunted me? I mean, can you blame me for not wanting to run into his arms?
Well, I certainly wouldn't blame you, and I certainly wouldn't blame you for running the other way either. But I'm glad you didn't.
Oh?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, back in high school, I was always trying to find faults in others and some weaknesses I could exploit. I was never really looking for the good in others. And because of that, I don't really think I really got to know anybody. That's why I was so excited to participate in this reunion. It's like I was looking at everyone with new eyes and meeting you for the first time.
Well, Bobby, my name's Donna Hastings. It's very nice to meet you.